Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another training video. So, we're currently live on YouTube and we're live on TikTok. So, the purpose of today basically is to just go through the basics of our trading strategy and also now we also want to understand what updates we did to our trading strategy, to our trading system, what we've added, and something that we need to understand how to use these components so that we move in the right direction. Okay, so let's just give a brief overview of our trading system, right? So our trading system right now, as you guys understand, consists of the FX signals indicator V3, right? Which is the one that shows us the entry TPSL, right? That everyone is familiar with. And then now we've added two components to our trading strategy, which is the trend finder indicator and the lot size indicator, right? So the reason why we added these two, okay, is basically for the advantages that they give us, right? So the trend finder like basically gives us a list of currencies, right, which are currently active, right? So for in order for our trading strategy to work, guys, we need to like usually we had to manually search for markets which are active, right? And at least with this indicator, it shows us now on a list, well, the FX pairs basically, which ones are trending to the upside, which ones are trending to the downside, okay? And then with that information, then we know exactly which charts to look at and apply systems to, okay? And then from there, we'll use the FX signals indicator to find the trades, right? To find the signals. And then for entry, we added the lot size calculator because a lot of people don't know how to calculate their lot size. It's actually quite complicated if you think about it. Calculating your lot size, knowing which lot size to use. Most people are just guessing. So at least with this tool that we install onto the platform, we're able to calculate much better which lot size to use, and it actually recommends it for us. So today we're just going to go ahead and look at those, right? We're going to go ahead and look at those tools, and then we're also going to analyze and see how our strategy like fits together. Okay, so let's first, before we actually go deeper into the components of our trading strategy or the actual strategy, right? Let's go through the components, each and every component, so that everybody understands what it is that we're talking about. Because we're at different levels of understanding when it comes to trading, guys, right? So let's start with our FX signals indicator. What is it? Okay, for those that don't know, right? So let me just open up a random chart, right? So let me just pull it up. Okay, guys, so when I'm talking about the FX signals indicator, right, I'm talking about what you're seeing on the screen right now. Okay, this is what we use, guys, to find potential opportunities in the markets, right? So this is what it is, right? This indicator right here that's on the screen. So basically, this is the one where we're talking about the rules. Okay, let me talk about the rules. In order to buy or sell, guys, the market has to be above the moving average for buy signal, right? And then the volatility meter has to be above 70%. So then if we see those conditions, then we can actually take the trade, right? Above for buys, right? And then the same is the opposite for sells. The price has to be underneath the moving average. And then from there, you can take the trading levels according to our trading rules, as you guys already know, right? So that's the FX signals indicator, right? So now let's talk about the additions, right? Because I know that maybe some don't understand which additions we are talking about, right? So let's just take our time and understand what it is that we're talking about. So if you guys have questions, just type them in the chats. Then when the video is over, I'll just go through them, right? But I'm not really planning to take a lot of time. Um, so yeah, let's talk about the trend finder indicator, right? So let's go to the charts right now and let's find the trend finder indicator. Okay, so this is what you'll see, guys, when you load the trend finder. Let me just remove this. Just something I just need to remove. It's disturbing, right? All right. So like the most important thing about this indicator that you need to focus on. You see this blue box right here, okay? So I want you to focus on this part of the screen that I'm highlighting here, okay? So as you guys can see, there's a list of FX currencies, right? So this one only looks at the FX currencies, okay? And then now, if you look closely to this, okay, you can see that some of the currencies are red and some of the currencies are green, okay? So now, the green highlighted currencies, these are the ones that are pushing to the upside, okay? And then the one at the top of the list is the one that's the most active, right? The one that's moving the most, right? And the one that is green, but at the bottom of the list is the one that's moving the least. But the ones that are highlighted in green are the currencies which are pushing to the upside, okay? So, like with that information, without having to guess and, manually search for active opportunities, what we do is we'd focus on these currencies, okay? And then these are the currencies that we would apply our trading system to, right? So let's just make an example real quick, right? So you see at the top there, we've got NZD, it's green, it's at the top of the list, right? So then we know that there's a potential opportunity on the NZD USD, right? So let me just go ahead and open it. So once we see that, we'll just go ahead and uh, apply our trading system to see what's happening. And as you guys can see already, without having much effort, we can see that there's a buy signal on the H4 chart, the H1 chart, and the 15-minute chart. Okay. So that's what that one is for. It just helps us to very quickly identify which markets are active because in order for us to get good trades, we need to find which markets are active, and having to search manually is quite tiring, if I'm being honest, right? So this just makes the job easier, right? So if you look at the trend finder, for buy signals, you'd be searching on these green highlighted currencies right there, if you guys can see that, right? And then if we move to the bottom of the list, you guys, where I'm highlighting right now, these currencies that are highlighted in red, okay? So these are the ones that you'd expect to find sell signals. These are markets that are actively pushing to the downside, you see? So this one, the currency at the bottom of the list is the one that's moving the most, and the currency at the top of the list, this is the one that's moving the least, okay? So just pay attention to that. So meaning that the strongest currency right now pushing to the downside is the USD JPY. The second one is the USD CAD, USD CHF. So immediately, guys, we know exactly where to look for the opportunities, because I get this question a lot. I actually get this quite a lot where people ask me, okay, which currencies to trade at which time? So this one addresses that specific question, right? And gives us a solution. Okay. So yeah, let's just make an example again. So let's just put the USD JPY onto the chart, right? And just like that, guys, you can already see, we just put it on the chart and we can see that there's a sell signal right there. Okay? Just like that, you guys can see. You know, if you follow our rules, the market is underneath the 100-period moving average. Volatility meters above 70%. Stop loss, take profit is already there, right? So, so that's the benefit of the trend finder. That's the purpose of it, right? It's there to help us to find which markets are active, okay? But it's specific for FX currencies, for currencies, guys, right? So it doesn't include your indices and and your and your crypto. Okay, so for the trend finder, it only looks at the currencies, right? So its limitation is the currencies, right? So yeah, we're together. So you see, it just helps us to see which markets are active at the moment and which ones are good enough for us to analyze using our trading system. So already, guys, we looked at two charts, and within like 10 seconds, we already knew what was going on. Okay, which is the benefit because you know, like I said, a lot of people struggle with knowing which markets to look at. Okay, this addresses that. And then obviously now the entry, stop loss, take profit, whatever, that's addressed by our trading system, the FX signals indicator, right? Now, okay, so let's just go to one of these charts. Let's go back to the USD JPY, right? So we're gonna go to the third component of our trading system, which is the lot size calculator. So this is where now you just need to pay a little bit of attention, okay? And for guys on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube. The channel is Mabs FX, okay? You can just I'm live streaming right now. So for you to see the screen, you can just go hop up on our YouTube, and then we can chat over there, right? You can follow what I'm saying. But yeah, so the lot size calculator, guys, is the next component that I'm going to show you. Okay. So now let me just explain the steps, okay, of how to find a a good trading opportunity, right? So the first step with our updated strategy, right, would be number one, to look at the Trend Finder app, Trend Finder indicator, okay, to see which markets are active at that particular time that you are analyzing the market, okay? And then once you found a potential active market, okay, then you're gonna load the FX signals indicator, right, to see the entry levels, right? Okay, it's a simple process, right? So trend finder, FX signals indicator, and then now when it comes to execution, this is where you guys just need to pay attention to the lot size calculator. I'll make more videos about it so you guys can understand, basically how it goes, right? Because another drawback for a lot of traders is, they can find the opportunities, but when it comes to calculating the lot size, this is where, they have a problem, because they don't know how the amount of lots that they use per trade affects their account balance, how much risk they're exposing themselves to. So at least with the lot size calculator, you're able to identify, or you're able to basically calculate how much you can use to for a specific trade once you have a signal. Okay, it helps you, it recommends the lot size that you can use based off of, you have to put in the stop loss that your system gives you, you have to put in the take profit, and then you have to say, okay, do you want to risk 2% of the account or 10%, or whatever the case may be. And then based off the information that you put in, it's going to recommend a lot size for that particular trade. Okay. I know, I know for a lot of people right now it sounds like I'm speaking Chinese. But this is all very important. It's actually very simple. It just sounds fancy, lot size calculator, all the stuff. But it's actually very simple, right? When we're talking about the lot size, which lot size to use, right? Because when you're trading, your biggest problem is you don't know what to trade, right? And you don't know how to trade it. And then when it comes to execution, you don't know which lot size to use. Okay, so with this process, we we actually attack those problems. Okay, We're solving those problems basically, right? So let's go back to our chart. Let me just find my my what do you call cursor, right? So okay, guys. So now, for those of you guys who got the trend finder and the lot size calculator, you see when you load the new setup template, okay, what you'll see is this little window here at the top left of the screen, right? So if you click on that button there, you see it's going to open up the lot size calculator, okay? So right now we're looking at a sell signal on the USD JPY, right? So currently the market is at it's at 142.768, right? And then according to our trading system, our next TP is at 141.510. Okay, that's the TP. And then the stop loss is 143.809. Okay, very easy. Hopefully we're together, guys, right? Let me just check on my YouTube first if no one is asking me anything, right? So let me just check. Okay, so hey, Mr. Ngumalo, thank you so much. Very supportive. Thank you for that. Right. So, anyways, right. So, in order to calculate your lot size with this indicator, guys, right? You already have to have your signal. You already have to have your stop loss, your take profit. Already you have that, right? You have that. Okay. You already have it, guys. Don't be confused, right? I'm speaking slowly so that you guys can follow what I'm saying. Okay. Right? We're going to take it step by step. I'm not going to rush it, but I want you guys to understand. Okay, so let's look at the lot size calculator dashboard. Okay, so if you look closely at the top, you can see it says buy, it says market, right? So you can see if you've got a sell signal, right? You need to click on that buy so and make it change to sell. You guys see that? I'm going to click again on that blue button. You see it says buy, sell. So depending on your signal, right? So for this specific signal on the USD JPY, it's a sell signal. So we're going to click until we see sell. Again, right? And then you can just where it says position size. This is where now you can put a lot size that you think. Okay, this is a lot size that you think, right? So it can be zero. I'm just gonna say 0.000 even 0.8, right? 0.8, and it hasn't calculated the lot size yet. Okay, so now when you put the lot size that you're thinking about, okay, when you put the stop loss and the take profit, it's going to show you basically an estimate of how much it will cost to get to the stop loss and how much um, you can potentially gain in profit. Okay, all right, guys. So I'm moving down, right? So now you have to come down. You see where it says SL and TP by points. Okay, you need to click on that until it says SL and TP by price because we need to input the price of the stop loss and the TP. You feel me? Don't worry, you'll get it, guys. You'll get it. We'll do a few examples so that you can understand, right? And then now you see where it says SL price. This is the stop loss price. With it needs for us to input the value of the stop loss so that it can do the calculations, right? So we're gonna say one. Okay, let me just put numlock. So our stop loss is 143, right? It's 143 point 811, right? 811. 811. You guys see that, okay? And then we're gonna go to, you see, so basically this, um, you see already it's telling us like since I put in the stop loss, né, it's already telling us the possible loss, right? But this possible loss is based off of the lot size that I inputted in the beginning. So you can actually use this to calculate already, how much or which lot size to use basically, right? So now, but we're going to refine it. Just stay with me, right? We're going to refine it. Let's put in the take profit. So the take profit is 141.514. I feel like I might need to do more sessions of these of calculating the lot size, okay? So we're going to do, after this example, we're going to do another one again. We're going to start from step one. Step one is the trend finder. Step two is the FX signals indicator. Step three is the lot size calculator. Okay. All right. Let's move on. So the take profit is 141,510. Okay. That's what you need to put in. Okay. And then it's telling you now already. You see where it says possible loss, it's giving you an amount. Possible profit, it's giving you an amount. That's how much you will possibly lose and possibly gain with the lot size that you inputted at the top there. Okay. And then it says recommended lot size is 0.01, but we're not done inputting the information. Okay. And then now on the next part, it says, okay, what are your risk parameters, right? So the indicator is asking you now, you want to base your risk on your balance. Okay, how much is in your trading account, right? So we're just going to keep it there. And then it says your risk percentage, like how much do you want, or like what percentage do you want to risk, okay? And then by default, it just says 2% because, in trading, they say that you should risk 2% per trade. So that's where they got this 2% from. Okay, it's just general, right? But you can change it, right? So let's say, for instance, you get a possible trade, right? And then maybe you want to risk 10%. You want to see what lot size to use if you risk 10%. Let's just make 10%. Let's just change this to 10%, right? And then you just click. And then, okay, guys, I've got 5,000 Rand, 5,450 Rand in this trading account, right? So already it says it's calculating for me. It says that, okay, on this trade, if I want to risk 10% of the balance, right? The risk amount is 545 Rand. It's there on the on the thing. It's there. It just that did the calculations. And then if you look up on this calculator, it says the recommended lot size for me to meet my risk parameter, right, is 0.04. So, in other words, if I want to trade according to risk management on this particular trading signal, right, I have to use 0.04, and then I'll only be risking on that particular trade, I'll only be risking 545 Rand of 5,450, right? Okay. So you can come back up there by lot size and just select 0.04, and then you can see the calculations, right? You can just see the calculations right there. So if you edit the position size, it's going to be, now you guys can see the possible loss is 540, the possible profit is 600 Rand, okay? So just like that, guys, now you're putting yourself in a much more favorable position because a lot of people don't know how to do the trading process, right? They don't know which markets are trending. They don't have like a solid strategy, and then they don't know how to use risk management, okay? So now, when you execute, right? Um, when you execute your trade, okay, and then you see that the trade now is profitable, what you can do extra, okay, depending on, you can use your own discretion, right? So sometimes what I do is I would add positions so that it can compound the profit, right? But then now this is the process, okay? So now we're talking about trading according to risk. This is like the easiest way, guys. Calculating your lot size can be a nightmare, but this is the easiest way to do it, okay? So let's look for another example. I remember there was let's go back. Let's start over. Let's start over the process. I'll speak slowly, guys. If you do have any questions on YouTube, just let me know, okay? Just let me know on YouTube if you do. Just type it in. I'll try to make a video to respond to the questions if they are, okay? But I think it's very important to ask the questions so that we all on the same understanding, okay? So let's start over. We're going to look at one more example and then we're going to go our separate ways, okay? So now So we're starting over, guys. We're starting over. We're starting over, right? So, guys, remember our trading strategy has three components, right? Before we start doing anything, there's three components. We need to understand our three components, right? There's the FX signals indicator. This is the indicator that shows us the entry, the take profit, the stop loss. Okay? Right? That's our first component. And then our second component is the trend finder indicator, right? Okay, somebody's asking, we can't see a screen. Guys, if you want to see the screen, right, you need to hop over to TikTok, okay? I mean, not TikTok, you need to go to YouTube. The YouTube channel is Mabs Effects. Jabum Tembu, what's up? So, anyways, our second component, right? Let me start over. We've got three components. The first component is the FX signals indicator. This is the one that shows us the entry, the stop loss, the take profit, right? And then our second component is the trend finder indicator. This one is the one that shows us which FX currencies are active, right? These are the currencies that we're going to use or that we're going to use our signals indicator on, right? And then number three is the lot size calculator, which now is the indicator that's going to help us to calculate our lot size, okay, for that particular trade according to risk parameters, okay? Right? So now we're becoming proper traders, guys. We're becoming proper traders at this moment, okay? So the way we use it, guys, right? So it's three steps, okay? Step number one is we're going to use the trend finder indicator to identify which markets are active, right? Which markets are going up, which markets are going down specifically, right? We don't want to waste time, right? So this is you just look at that list and then you identify which markets you're going to apply the signals indicator to. Then number two, once you've identified which markets are active, then you're going to take the signals indicator and then you're going to see if there's a possible opportunity to trade, right? Right? And then once we've found our signal on the market that we want to trade, number three, we're going to use, before we execute, we're going to use the lot size calculator to help us to determine which lot size to use for the specific trade, all right? Based off of our specific account balance, right? Stop loss and take profit, okay? So let's start the process over, right? Let's go back to MT4. So now we're going to start on MT4, right? Starting on the trend finder indicator right there. We're going to look at the list and then we can see that the market that's trending up, the one that's busiest at this moment going to the upside is the NZD-USD. Okay, we already see that. So now if we're looking for buy signals, right, the markets that we potentially analyze on is the NZD-USD, AUD-USD, Euro-USD, NZD-CAD, GBP-USD, NZD, CHF, Euro-GBP, etc. Right? So for this specific example, we're going to look at the NZD-USD. Let me just find it here on my right. Okay, so now we're on the NZD USD, right, on the H1 chart, and immediately, guys, because we know our trading rules, right, for buy signal, the market has to be above the 100-period moving average, the volatility meter has to be above 70%, and then we can use the trading levels, right? Already we can see immediately, guys, within 2 seconds, we know that there's a buy signal on NZD USD, right? We're not confused. We know exactly what's happening, okay? So let's start over, guys. So now the market is at 0.60378. The next TP is at 0.61333. And then the stop loss is there at 0.59755, right? So the system gives you all this information. Now, we found a busy market, right, which is the NZD-USD. We got our trading signal, entry, stop loss, take profit, right? We've got these levels right now. So now let's calculate our lot size. So what we're going to do, we're going to click on that button to expand the lot size calculator, right? So as you guys can see, we start here at the top, right? So it's a buy signal. So we need to make sure that it's set on buy, right? And then we're going to click on, you see where it says SL and TP buy points, we're going to click there. And then it's going to change and say SL and TP by price, right? So let's put in our stop loss, right? Let's just key it in. So the stop loss is 0.597, right? 55. And this is all given to us, guys. It's not like we have to stress and try find out what's going on, you know? All right. And then the take profit is 0.61333. Okay. I feel like, we need to do more of these trainings. I can hear crickets. I can hear crickets, guys. But you get the hang of it, guys. I think, we need to do this like every day, tomorrow as well. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You know what I mean? Okay, so um, now we've put in our take profit and our stop loss. Okay, and then our risk base is our balance. So for me, for this example, I want to risk 10%. I put the 10% there. You type it in, guys, right? And then the risk amount is 545 rand. Okay, 10% of my account balance is 545 rand. So then if I were to enter into this trade and I want to risk 10%, I'd be risking 545 rand. It calculated it for me, okay? And then it says, based off of the stop loss and the take profit that I gave it, right? The recommended lot size that I can use is 0.05, okay? So then if you go to the position size and you just key in that amount, right? Then you can see on the possible loss and possible uh, take possible a profit, you can see it has some amounts, right? So let me just fix what I did here. I pressed the wrong button, guys. So don't zoom and break it. Press the wrong button, right? So you guys can see based off of the stop loss and the TP, the possible loss it tells you right there, and the possible profit it also tells you. Okay, right? Just like that, guys. Just like that. So that's basically, how we have a complete trade, guys. That's how that's the complete trading process. Okay, this is how we've simplified it. It's actually very, very easy. This is actually the easiest way. Like there's no other way. This is the easiest way, guys. It's the easiest way. But in the next few days, because the trend finder is only focusing on the currencies, right? So in the next few days, I'm working on another one that can look at the other instruments like your gold and your NAS 100 US 30, right? But obviously that I'll be communicating in the Telegram channel, okay? So yeah, guys, that's how we are going to analyze the markets. That's how we're going to execute trades right now. We're trading like pro. I feel like right now, we're trading like professionals, okay? Because we're doing the proper trading process, okay? Because you know people struggle. Okay, somebody's asking an important question right now. They say, where do you insert the account balance on the calculator? Okay, so you don't input the account balance. Okay, so when you load um, the lot size calculator, okay, it already knows how much is in your trading account, right? So now, if you look at the bottom of the window, it says risk parameters, okay, and then it says risk base, the balance, right? So that button there, it has to be on balance, and then you need to input how much of the balance do you want to risk. So I put 10%. You can change this amount. You can put 2%. You can put 50%, whatever, just so that you can see. Okay. So if I put 2%, you can see that the amount changed, and the recommended lot size up there changed as well. So if I wanted to risk 2%, I'd have to use like 0.01. Okay. If I change this to 50%, then let's see what it will say. So 50% of my account balance is 2,725. Okay, so basically you don't input your account balance, guys. It already knows. So what you input is how much percentage do you want to risk, or do you want it to calculate? Okay, and then it does that. So that's the advantage, guys. So just like that, guys. We only took long because I'm speaking slow and trying to explain, but in just a few minutes, we already know which markets we should trade, and then in a few minutes we already know which markets, what is the entry, what is the stop loss, and then in a few seconds we know which lot size to use, right? So that's very, very powerful. So yeah, guys, if you want to learn more, um, just send us a DM. For those of you guys who already have the trading system, just send us a DM, and it's speaking. It's all good. So we're gonna have another session tomorrow. I think we can do it in the New York session, but I'll communicate in the group where we'll be using this again, so that you guys can have a better idea. Because you know, it's a very big problem, guys. I know some of you guys who haven't started trading yet won't know, but most people struggle with what to trade, when to trade, and they struggle with how to execute. And the reason why people lose money is because somewhere in the trading process, there's something that they're not doing properly. Okay. So we, as retail traders, we need to position ourselves in such a way that we're giving ourselves advantages and not disadvantages. Okay. So yeah, we're aligning us to win. Okay, so somebody's asking, does it work on indices? Okay, so yes, the lot size calculator works on the indices, right? The FX signals indicator works on the indices, but the trend finder only works on the currencies. Okay, it only works on that. You see, remember we spoke about three components: the trend finder, right? The trend finder only works on currencies. The FX signals indicator works on any instrument on MT4, and the lot size calculator as well. Okay, so it's not the lot size calculator isn't dependent on what form of instrument it is, right? It's only the trend finder app which is now um, being choosy in a way. Okay. Okay, right now I don't have any running trades. Okay, so I'm only gonna start trading tomorrow. I'm only gonna start trading tomorrow at when we do the trading session. Okay, so we're gonna do a trading session tomorrow. And we're gonna do it at 5 p.m. Let's do a trading session at 5 p.m. Let me just check first. Let me wait. I wanna trade together with the news. Okay, so let me just see. I posted something in the Telegram on a trade, together with the news. I don't want to go apart from the news. All right, so the news is at 4 p.m. So will I be home at 4? Let me see. I'm not sure if I'm going to be home at 4 o'clock. But guys, okay, so we're gonna have a live trading session tomorrow. I'll just confirm the time, right? If it's possible, we're gonna have the session at 3 p.m. tomorrow, South African time, or we're gonna have the session at 5 p.m. Okay. If I can't do it at 3 p.m., it's gonna be at 5 p.m. So just look out on my YouTube or the Telegram channel. Um, if I'm live at 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. Okay. So just what? But most likely, most probably, I should, if I'm just thinking generally, I should be able to go live at 3 p.m. But just yeah, if I can't, I'll go live at 5, and then we can prepare. There's a lot of news happening this week. There's the NFP as well, so plenty of opportunities, right? So yeah, guys, I think we've reached the end of our trading session. Okay, I see that there's another question here. Oh, somebody's asking, okay, they're asking an interesting question here. They say, do you have any recommendation on how much you can deposit on a micro account? Okay. So, um, Yes. So basically a micro account, the way I understand it, right? It helps you to trade with a lower balance. So like for instance, on a standard account, you'd need about 500 USD, to trade properly to minimum, to trade things like NAS 100, Forex currencies, etc., right? But with a micro account, you can use it with a smaller, like someone who should use a micro account is someone who doesn't have a lot of capital to trade with. Okay, so if you don't have like maybe 500 or $1,000 to deposit into a trading account, then you can open up a micro account. Okay, so if you have like 1,000 or 500 rand or whatever the case, if you've got a low amount that you have to trade with, right? I a micro account is meant for that. Okay, and then obviously people who the other type of person who would open up a micro account is a hey, I got a universe, guys. Thank you so much for the universe. I looked at my TikTok balance. It was funny, guys. It was 30 bucks. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for the universe. So, anyways, the other type of person who would use a micro account or is a beginner trader, somebody who just started trading, who just is still trying to figure out, but they don't want to use demo, they want to use a real account. Okay, so a micro account is for those two types of people. It's for a person who doesn't have much capital to trade with, right? And then the second person is for a beginner, somebody who's still learning, who still wants to make mistakes, right, without losing a lot of money, right? Because when you're starting out, you will make mistakes. So rather learn, but let the financial loss not to be big, but let it be, manageable. So that's what the micro account would be. So a micro account would be, you know, $100, $50, $10, whatever. It's for small amounts. It's for small amounts, right? It's for small amounts, right? But yeah, anyways, guys, I'm disconnecting right now, so I'll check you guys out in the next videos. Okay, yes, and before I forget, guys, be careful of these scam accounts. Right now, guys, I only have this TikTok channel. This is the only Mr. Indicator um, channel, okay? Because I saw a lot of people, you guys were texting me, asking me if I do account management and things like that. I don't do that, guys, right? I don't do that, okay? Yeah, I don't do that, right? Like I don't do account management, okay? So, and I don't do investments, right? So I don't do that stuff, okay? And um, I won't be DMing people offering them that. Okay, so I don't do that. Just be very careful, guys. Like, if it's nothing that I'm saying here, okay, I don't do it. Right? So just be very, very careful. The people might be watching now and trying, they might be people who are going to DM you with the same uh, logo that I have on my profile picture. Just be very careful, guys, right? I'm not gonna DM you after this stream, guys. Uh, I'm gonna wait for you to DM me. I will respond to your messages. I'm not gonna DM you, okay? So just be very, very careful, guys, of that, okay? So this is the only Mr. Indicator TikTok channel, okay? So, anyways, guys, I think we've reached the end, and yeah, I'll highlight you guys later. Take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m., 3 or 5 p.m., and I'll see you guys later. Take care, guys. Good luck with trading. I'll see you guys on the next one.